Hey, everybody. I'm Dr. Seth, clinical psychologist, Dr. Seth Meyers. I'm going to talk today about a way that you can think about negative thoughts when you get stuck in them that hopefully will be really helpful. Just a quick side note. I was thinking before I got ready to record this video, someone on another video in the comments section that I did on my YouTube channel said, for God's sakes, please put some chapstick on. So, this is for you. Anyhow, today I want to talk about something called cognitive diffusion, but it's spelled a different way. Diffusion, Defusion. A lot of times we think about the word diffusion, which of course is different. But diffusion is a concept that comes from acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT for short. The diffusion that it refers to is cognitive diffusion. Let me sort of explain just briefly what that means. If you think about two things that become fused, they are two different, distinct things that become one. They fuse into one. The idea is that this is exactly what happens with one's thoughts and feelings on the one side, and on the other side, then the reactions. So, if, for example, you get stuck in negative thoughts and feelings, all of a sudden it fuses into the reaction that you have. Then telling yourself, something's wrong with you, you're defective, you're bad, you feel hopeless. You tell yourself that you won't get what you want, you won't get what you need, you'll never reach those goals that you have. The problem is, if you get stuck in your negative thoughts and feelings, they get fused into your automatic reactions. So, what ACT therapy tells us we should do when we get stuck in negative thoughts and feelings is defuse those two things. So, on the one hand, you can have your thoughts and your feelings, but now you can allow some space, a distance between that and how you react to it. There is a distance between those, so it's not automatic. So it's a way of looking at your thoughts and your feelings that are negative, that you are so tempted to get stuck in, and saying, hold on, wait a minute, that's not going to happen. I am not letting my thoughts and feelings hijack me. I am taking back some power. In this moment, I am allowing some distance between that and how I'm going to react to it. So there are different techniques under this umbrella of diffusion. But what's important for you to remember when you get stuck having negative thoughts and feelings is you want to diffuse them from how you react to them. Think about it this way. You get to have some say. You don't have to be hijacked. You get to have a little power and control in the situation over how you're going to react. And some of the diffusion techniques I'm going to talk about are ones that you can use to do that. Now, the negative thoughts and feelings you could have, they could be about anything. It could be about relationship stress, feeling like someone is not interested in you anymore, or maybe fear that someone might leave you, fear that you might not be good enough for this person or this relationship. Some of these irrational negative thoughts and feelings that you can have around relationships. It could be related to something at work. It could be really, really wanting that promotion, doing everything you can to work so hard to get it. Try to get your boss to like you and to think that you are good and competent and responsible, and yet getting stuck in those negative feelings, finding examples of things in your daily life that, no, I'm not good enough. No, it's not going to work out. No, it's not going to happen. And then getting stuck in that negative spiral. Or the negative thoughts and feelings could just be about your own self, your own sense of self, maybe different characteristics or traits that you have. Maybe you are stuck feeling like you're not appealing, you're not likable, you're not lovable, you're going to be rejected by someone, your body isn't attractive enough. It could be a whole list of things that are causing you to get stuck in those negative thoughts and feelings about yourself. If you get stuck in any of these negative thoughts and feelings, whether it's about a relationship, something at work, or something about yourself and your self-esteem and your sense of self, If you are not careful, you will get so stuck in those negative thoughts and feelings that it bleeds into your reaction. And all of a sudden, they are fused, they are one. And before you know it, you've had an automatic negative reaction. So now I'm just going to walk you through a few different techniques that you can use to help you create a little distance between the negative thoughts and feelings and how you react to them. The first technique is so simple, but at the same time, it is completely counterintuitive. The first technique is just noticing. Just noticing the thoughts or the feelings that you have that are negative and that are coming up for you. One example would be, that's a thought that's about my fear. That's a thought that's about me being afraid that something bad will happen. That's a fear thought. That's one example of just noticing. Another example of just noticing is telling yourself, you know what, that thought, all these feelings, that's about me trying to predict what's going to happen in the future before it's even happened. That's what that's about. That's me trying to predict the future. These are examples of just noticing. Think about it like this. Think about a person who walks into a room and they have a clipboard and they're looking around the room and they're taking inventory of it. They're holding their clipboard in their hand. Maybe they've got a pen in their other hand and they're looking around and they're maybe checking things off the list. They're just noticing. They're not having emotional reactions to what's in the room. They're taking inventory. They're just noticing. So just notice it. Just observe it and label it. The second technique I'm going to highlight, thank you mind. So think about it this way. Negative thoughts and feelings have hit you hard. They are too intense or you're stuck in them and you really feel like you can't control it. Well, the inclination naturally is often to feel like you want to fight those thoughts and feelings, like they are the enemy, like you want to get them out of you, like they are bad. Well, try the opposite and say, thank you, mind. Thank you, mind, for pointing that out. Or thank you, mind, for showing me that. In this moment, you can feel like your mind is more your friend and not your enemy, not something that you need to fight. Remember, just because your mind has a thought doesn't mean that you need to act on it. In fact, our brains are so complicated, sometimes thoughts and feelings come into our mind and we don't even really know exactly why they came into our mind. But what matters is how we behave, how we react to those thoughts and feelings. And we get to have some say over our behavior. So just because we have a thought or a feeling doesn't mean that we need to act on it. We can say instead, thank you, mind. We can take our power back in that moment instead of telling ourselves, well, if I had that thought or feeling and it keeps coming back, it must mean something and I need to do something about it now. No, no. We can say, thank you, mind. In the third diffusion technique I'm going to talk about in this video, I think is one of the most helpful, and it is called simply repeating a thought. Now, here's how it works. Imagine a really negative, upsetting, intense thought that you have. Now, think about what that thought is. Take that thought and actually repeat the thought, but do it in a couple of different ways. Repeat it out loud and maybe do it in a silly voice or an exaggerated voice. And doing so and continuing to repeat it like that can take away the power of that thought. Sometimes, if a thought is really negative, it can feel like it is this powerful, unforgiving, mean, authoritarian voice that tells us what is wrong, what is bad, what is going to happen. This ultimate powerful voice, and it's not our friend, this voice. Well, let's actually, again, take our own power back in that moment. Let's take the thought and now let's play with it a little bit. Pretend you're an actor doing improv and repeat that thought several times in different voices and exaggerated voices. And you will start to see that that thought doesn't have the same power over you. Remember that this comes from ACT therapy, which is evidence-based, which means that there is research that shows that these techniques work. So it's incredibly helpful. Remember, as I start to close this video, the goal when you have negative or intense thoughts and feelings is to learn to create some distance between that and how you react. So I hope these diffusion techniques have been helpful for you, which come from ACT therapy. And actually, I'll provide a reference also to a Russ Harris book that can be really helpful and describe these techniques in more detail. Feel free to check out some of my other videos in my YouTube library and all sorts of mental health topics, hopefully that will be helpful to you. Have a good day, everybody.